All right, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the beneficent and merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. We want to thank Allah for allowing us to have another day. And what a great day to have a conversation with some beautiful brothers who are doing some phenomenal things in the community. I'm speaking to Brother James from Charlotte, North Carolina. Then you all know Brother Shaka. He's the brother I've been working with the Chess Academy. The brother's done phenomenal things, but know what? The best person to talk about their organization is the person themselves. So we're gonna start with Brother Shaka. Brother Shaka, assalamu alaikum, brother.
Walaikum salam, King.
How the brother doing?
I'm fine by Allah's permission. How are you, sir?
Oh man, I'm among kings, brother. So I'm doing well. Brother, just give the people who may not know your service and your work, brother, a little background about yourself, my brother.
Yes, sir. My name is Shaka, Brother Shaka X. I'm the founder and executive director of Bravo Zulu Chess Academy, located in and around Washington, D.C. That's primarily where we do our work. We are 10-time Mid-Atlantic regional champions, 10-time Washington, D.C. city champions, 6-time Baltimore city champions, 6-time grade level champions. We are the current PG County 6 through 12 champions, as well as K through 6 champions.
All right, praise be to Allah. And then this brother, Brother James, very good brother and a New Yorker himself. So we're gonna get it in. So without further ado, Brother James, I'm like brother.
Wa alaikum salam, brother. How you doing?
Maintain a black man. Hey, for the people who may not know your great work, my brother, share a little bit about yourself and the organization that you're representing tonight.
Sure. My name is Brother James Muhammad, out of originally from New York, as brother said. I have a manhood training program called the Young Saviors Academy. Have been doing it for in Charlotte for I would say about 10 years right now. We deal with STEM programs, and ours is kind of unique because our STEM stands for science, technology, entrepreneurship, engineering slash agriculture, and mathematics. So we have the program run every Saturday, and we also do some disaster preparedness with our youth as well down here. So we have also a disaster preparedness called CERT 10,000 Fearless that we incorporate with our youth and our youth program down here as well. We've been very successful, pretty much needed. We have helped young men, especially young men who may have a disability as far as learning, what people say is a disability of learning, and let them gravitate towards us and grow in knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, be better readers, uh, better mathematicians, things of that nature. So it's an ongoing work, but we love it.
Praise be to Allah. Well, let's get into it, brothers, and feel free to chime in. We want this to be as organic and natural as possible, because both of you brothers, I respect your intellect and the things that you do. So I know that you're definitely going to feed the people. Brothers, just share a little bit about the positive impact that you may have experienced from your programs that you see that this is a cause that's definitely necessary in our community. Either one could chime in.
Well, I can say for the most part, most of the young men that we have in our program don't have a father, or their father is not readily available. Some of them are incarcerated. Some of them are just not around. So more than just being a program teaching specific items or things of that nature, I actually become a father to a lot of children that come into the program that may not have it. So it's an ongoing thing. It's not a one-day thing. And the effect that it has on our youth, you can see the transformation instantaneously. Um, you know, so I would say that the most beautiful thing about the program is interacting with a lot of our youth and young men and getting to see them grow right in front of your eyes, all the way from 3 years of age all the way up to teenage years.
Yes, sir. Brother Shaka, that's very interesting because you as a teacher, I know that you may experience the same things that Brother James has explained, and it seems like it's a common denominator, the absence of a father or a positive male role model in young people's life, whether it be male or female. Can you share a little bit from your experience, the impact that you come across when you're dealing with children on a daily basis?
Yes, sir. Um, I would like to clear something up though. There often is this idea that Black men are not present, and we don't have Black men in our community. When the most recent research that's come out about a year ago has stated that Black men are the most involved fathers in their children's lives.
Yes, sir.
More so than Asian men, white men, Hispanic men, or any other demographic. When it's time to show up for games, recitals, back to school night, parent teacher conferences, Black men are the most present. I think the real issue is Black men are not marrying and having children at the rate of other demographic of men. So we don't seem to show up with the volume. Somewhere around 54% of Black men currently in the United States of America are not married and don't have any children. So we're talking about half of our warriors, the fighting force, the kings of our community, have decided to abdicate that responsibility for one reason or another. So I definitely wanted to just lay that groundwork and put that information out there.
Yes, sir.
What I see more often than not, I'm finishing year 23 in education. We have a bunch of children who have not been raised with discipline and consistency. They have not been taught the value of hard work. They've not been taught the value of scholarship. There's a lot of emphasis put on the ancillary things, the fluff, the tennis shoes, the haircuts, the proms, the games. But when it really comes down to the brass tacks, which is being a scholar, many of our students just lack basic study skills. They lack the basic discipline to sit down and understand fundamentally how to do critical thinking and analysis. So if we're really talking about a grassroots effort, you've heard me say this multiple times, Brother Vaughn,
yes, sir.
It really is mentorship. The men who are active, the men who are engaged in doing the work, each one of us should reach back and pull at least one young man. Every year we should have a mentee where we are spending a year just pouring into that young man, having a weekly check-in and talking about everything from grooming and etiquette and courtesy and to fighting styles, to study habits, to mating, to business, those major sciences that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the white man is never going to teach us how to do as men who have gone through this fire, 40-plus-year-old men. We know how to do these things at this point. So it is now our responsibility to pass it on to children so they miss the pitfalls that most of us step into.
Yes, sir. Beautiful analogy. And you are right, Brother Shaka, in reference to the studies of Black fathers being involved. And I know sometimes that stereotype perpetuates throughout media of all sorts to keep that stigma there. And then of course with disappointment that helps carry that negative feed. But Brother James, to Brother Shaka's point, your program, from what I know, does have predominantly Black men in general mentoring these young men. So can you give us a positive story or outcome that you have taken someone in your program being led by positive Black men, as Brother Shaka stated, has definitely had a positive impact on them? Brother James?
Sure. Basically, I'm gonna say this as following off of Brother Shaka's example of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The Black man must have a thorough knowledge of self.
Yes, sir.
So it's one thing to say mentorship. It's another thing for a person to know who they are and love themselves. Because if you can't love, my father used to teach us this: love yourself first, because there's no one greater than you. Not trying to be conceited, not trying to be arrogant, but a lot of times if we don't love ourselves, we cannot love others. So a lot of issues when I deal with young men, and we deal with young men on a constant basis that we see that feeds their mind, they end up coming to the mosque, they end up, some of them who get older, register, or they just like hanging around and become positive influences to others. I give you an example. One example I have in mind is Brother Sabir Muhammad, who goes to A&T college, and he came out of the program and he was able to excel in the program. And now he's going through computer engineering, but he comes back and helps young saviors anytime that he has a break in coding, which allows my son to see a positive role model other than his father, giving him something. So he's attracted to Brother Sabir and what he does in the mindset, which allows, another group, another generation to grow up with the same kind of mindset that was instilled in Brother Sabir. So that's one good example of it. But he had a knowledge of self. We developed a knowledge of self, and we do that with all the boys. And we can see that, and parents see that when they come back, like they're like, wow, oh, okay. And we're grateful for the program, because after that, we know, if we did not know, there's a higher rate of suicides that's going on. There's a higher rate of homicides that's going on. And it's due to a weak mental, spiritual, and physical connection they have with the God that they have with themselves. Mm-hmm. So we always try to instill in these young men to have a great love for themselves. But to do that, we go to the foundation. We go to the root. Who's the original man? We go to the root of who they are. We break that down biologically, scientifically, and anthropologically. We go through all those characteristics. So by the time they finish, they have a thorough knowledge of who they are. And they can take that skill and they develop in other areas. So yes, sir, developing that kind of skill set, I gave Brother Sabir as one example, but we have many others that come out of the program the same way.
Yes, sir. Well, you said some great points, and I know this from my conversation with Brother Shaka as well. Something came into mind, and I very much believe this. My eldest son always went to a private school, black owned, matter of fact, and it was a small group setting. So he never grew up in the public school environment. I have a younger son that he's part of the Muhammad University, and I feel that when we take our children out of these schools, right? And I know that Shaka could contest to this. You take them out that environment, you get a different response. Do you believe that taking our boys and our girls too out of these schools, because as you can see, the curriculum is not exactly molding them to be dealing with ethics. And some people say, well, that's the parents' responsibility. But parents and teachers should have a better working relationship in reference to helping with the growth of the children. So, Brother Shaka, being that this is a little bit more in your field, do you believe that separating our children out of the school is one of the answers to help mold them for that discipline that Brother James was speaking about?
Brother, I don't think it's one of the answers. I think it's the answer.
Yes, sir.
The issue is we live in a society where you have to pay to live, and with inflationary times, the inflationary times that we're living in, this is all by design to keep a system where both parents have to work, and there is no one at home to actually teach the children properly, to ensure that when they leave in the morning, there are wraparound services. You're handing them off from parents to competent adults, and competent adults back to the parents. There are large gaps in the day when children really are raising themselves. Children are raising children, and they're being left to their own devices, and they're being bombarded with the images and sounds of modern music and TikTok and Instagram. And I don't want to rail against those things as if we grew up in an antiseptic environment. But the thing that we had more so than anything else, and this is what Brother James was saying about Brother Sabir, we had more mature older adults in our environment, in our communities, who served as aunts and aunties, who would really be those firewalls against a lot of foolishness. Even when foolishness and chaos was going around, there was just a level of care that existed in our families and communities. And they would say, hey, little bro, you got to roll out. You can't do what we're doing. You can't be here right now. It's about to go down. You have to go home. And now the so-called big homies and the big sisters are they like the captive audience of the young impressionable minds, and they are leading them astray much more so than they were doing just a generation ago. So the key, absolutely, to answer you succinctly, is to have our own independent school systems where we are educating our children and they are not being bombarded with the gay and lesbian agenda. They're not being bombarded with the greatness of the white man or white supremacy or this fiat currency system where they really can invest their time, their energy, their skills into something of value and something that's lasting.
Good answer. So, Brother James, an excellent point to Brother Shaka, what he just said. Do you find that being that you are dealing with predominantly brothers and those helping assisted in that, do you find participation from the parents, that you see that a separation of the schools is actually a great formula? And of course, that was one of the first assignments the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had, was to open up the school. So do you find that the parents are helping you because they want to see the program continually grow?
Yes, I do, for the most part. And it's like going back to Shaka's point. Most of the parents, we do have parents that come in, that those who stay are the Black men, and the brothers who are in the nation, that they have their sons in the program. They stay around, they help, they ask, you need any supplies, you need anything you need help with. So uh, that's is greatly effective and needed. And I say this even with the whole school system. My children are homeschooled too, and we do a tag team, my wife and I, as far as educating our children. So, we strive to make it work, even though it sometimes is difficult, but we just finished testing them, and they're a grade level or 2 grade levels above where they supposed to, what the society says they're supposed to be. So when we get that results, we know, as Brother Shaka pointed out, that the system and the school system is ineffective or ineffective to help our children. So the things that we do with the programs on Saturdays, um, working with the after school program, and I do actually work with after school program that is Black owned. So I see the results of the children that come to these programs, Black and white, to be after school, and you can see the effect of the curriculum that is given to them in that school system. And it's not just one school system. There could be a charter school. It could be a private school. It could be a public school. I've been through them all. And they all have the same agenda of what they're propagating, which is ineffective for our children. And I see the difference with seeing Black men being at the forefront, coming in and helping out in different programs, how a difference it makes with our youth. I know I went long around it, but yes.
Yes, sir. Now you good, brother. Yes, sir. Well, one of the things I admire about what you both, Brother Shaka, are doing is that your program is all year round. Now, of course, Brother Shaka has a chess academy, which, like I said, I've been honored to partner with my brother on different ventures with, because I've seen the impact of what my brother does with his chess program. So, do you feel that a year-round program, and perhaps including homeschooling, could be another alternative to parents that, most of the homes are single parent homes to some degree? Do you feel that maybe a year-round program, having things for our children to do year-round, can curb some of those things we said earlier, dealing with violence, um, suicide, just having that cushion there? Because once upon a time, per what Brother Shaka said, we had the aunties, the uncles, and the neighbors who were there, the librarians. That's a place to go. Do you feel that these year-round programs are very effective and necessary for us to curb what's going on in our community? Brother Shaka?
It is to get right to it. Year-round wraparound services are essential because children left to their own devices are going to do what children do. But I don't think the answer necessarily is for every single family to have their child in homeschool, or every single believer or every single man to be supporting a program like that. We need men in the public school system. We need believers in the public school system. The minister was asked once why he preaches so much from the Bible. And his response was beautiful. He said, because that's where most of our people are rooted in. Most of our people are rooted in the public school system. That's where they are. That's where we're going to find them. So as opposed to just having these ancillary services where we keep this nice clean environment that's outside of that system, we also need these shock troops and these soldiers who are in these positions, who are behind enemy lines, and who can act as the clean glass of water when they are constantly being bombarded by foolishness. They should be able to look to a brother or a sister and say, you know what, I know it's something different because I see sister so-and-so or brother so-and-so doing this thing every day. And children will gravitate naturally towards the right thing, even though they're fussing and arguing and, oh man, you always with the stuff. They keep coming back because they crave that discipline. So we need to be in both spaces. It's not an either or, it's a both and.
Same question, Brother James.
Yes, sir. And I know a lot of teachers that are in the nation that are down here in Charlotte, principals that are down here in Charlotte. So yes, I would say that, but I go back to one of the things in meaning of FOI. It said uh, military training implies going behind enemy lines and establishing a beachhead. So when we go into these institutions of learning, we should go into the mindset of that we're going in behind enemy lines to gravitate and take over, basically. And also, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us, even if we're underneath a tree, that's our school. So we have to get into. I remember the minister said we have to get into the mindset of doing something for ourselves. We have to get in the mindset of, lack for a better term, steal away and building our own institutions. Because regardless to how many teachers that we have in institutions, if we are not producing the curriculum, if we are not writing the curriculum, it's still going to be the same old, same old. And we are just going to, I mean, they'll see a positive black head, but there's only going to be so much, and I've witnessed this, that they can do because they're trapped into a system that they did not design. We have to begin to make our own institutions, design our own curriculum, get away from the what they have produced for us and produce something for ourselves.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Now that was an excellent response, brother. And you know what, brothers? We definitely want to give a solution. So, in closing, what would you say to that single parent, the mom or the dad, that are looking for assistance? We said a lot, but if you can close it up for them to understand that there's our solutions out there because you are actually doing the work. And for those who are watching this, these brothers are family men. They have children themselves. And one of the things that you can find the common denominator is the sacrifice of time to accomplish a goal. And if we as a community are not willing to sacrifice the time, then how can we expect different results doing the same thing every day? So we got to learn how to sacrifice when we have good people in the community doing great things. Um, as I said, I shared plenty of platforms with Brother Shaka, and I bear witness to the work that Brother James does in the community. But we have to find time to actually execute and assist those who are doing it either in the school or out the school. So if we know we have a program in the school, it makes sense to us to sacrifice some type of time to go into the school if there's a good program. If there's programs outside of the school, support it, share. We all know somebody who needs help. There's a lot of children out here that are wandering in the wilderness, and we wonder why so many of our young women get snatched up. So many of our young boys get caught up in gang activities because there's no one paying attention to them, and we leaving them, as the brother said earlier, to their own demise to do what they want. So there's two elements out there. It's going to be either negative or positive. They're going to pick which one suits their environment. And if that's all they know, then we can't really blame them 100% for the environment that they're living in. So in closing, Brother Shaka, what solutions would you give um, to someone who's looking for an outlet?
That's a really good question, brother. It's layered, it's nuanced, And Brother James really hit the nail on the head when he said knowledge of self. That's really where it starts. It starts with this complete and total conscious understanding that you are a representation of the God of the universe. You are God yourself. And when you start moving and orienting yourself in that way and start raising your children as gods and seeing your neighbors as gods, that really is the starting point. But that can be a big hill to climb for a parent who is stressed out. They have bills to pay, and they're just thinking about the food that they eat. One of the things that our program prides itself on is making scholarships available. So we're coming up on our summer camp program, and there is a cost associated to it, but we save seats every summer for at-risk children. We ask the principals of the schools that we're in to recommend students that may not even be interested in chess, but just need a safe place to be for the summer. And we take those children and we give them safe harbor, and we make sure that they have just an opportunity to be children throughout the summer. And invariably, what happens is they are around a bunch of other children who are priding themselves on doing the right thing, who are academically astute, who enjoy just playing and laughing and joking without all of the other negative elements that sometimes creep in from the streets. And those children change. Change is a slow process, but if you're looking, you'll see the change. So I just suggest that brothers and sisters who are doing things to continue to do their work, to be diligent and intentional about their work, to be sincere about their work, and have moving the people forward as the true goal, as opposed to making money or selling a product.
Beautiful answer. And the same question, Brother James, but for Brother James, I want to add this for your question as well, brother. Same question, but how important is it for those who are actually doing the work in the community not to give up? It's not an easy work. You deal with a lot of personalities and a lot of different things, but how important is it for those who are actually doing the work not to give up, Brother James?
Yes, the Holy Quran says it like this: when it comes to difficulty comes ease, and with ease comes difficulty. So you have to keep on pushing, because you never know who you may affect or who is watching you. Because sometimes people will look at you, look at your programs, and you may give up, and the person who was looking at you may got inspired by you, but because you gave up, they said, "There goes my hope." So I would suggest that we always continue and reach out to one another. One thing, you know, there was a book, old book I read, and Black Men Don't Cry in the Dark. You remember that? It was a novel, but a lot of times as Black men, we have a lot of pain that we hold internally, and when we do this work, it's very stressful, because you want to have the benefits hit you right away. And like brother said, it doesn't happen right away. You may not see your works until years later. Somebody come up to you, "Oh, Brother James, remember me? I did this and so. Now I'm doing this and this." And that is the greatest joy. When I hear that from years going down the line, somebody comes up to me, that's the greatest joy. So I tell people all the time, first of all, we have to network. Unity in the community helps us all, right? He said, we have to be united, as our unity is as strong as what they say, atomic bomb. So we have to begin to network. I think a lot of times we think we're doing this by ourselves. So my brother has a summer camp program. You might have other Black young men or young women doing some kind of other activity in the same city of Washington, D.C. or Baltimore. Same thing here in Charlotte. What I started learning to do is start networking. So I started networking with my 5% brothers. I started working with my Morris Science brothers. I started working with other community activists who have the same mindset with our children are involved. And that kind of eases the pressure off of us, because when you can just say, "Hey, brother, can you come in here and do a workshop real quick?" Or, "Sister, can you do X, Y, and Z, and there you don't understand how happy people will want to work, but a lot of times we don't reach out. We don't reach out and help one another, even in the school system. I'm doing a summer camp with another brother, good strong brother, Brother Leonard, with the Superlative Club. And just like my brother said, they got a grant to do it, and I see the need for it. So I'm helping him with that. So we help each other. Then we bounce off ideas on each other, how we can help better each other's uh, nonprofit, and that's what it's all about. Organization. That's what it's all about, brother Vaughn. And we just got to keep on pushing because the work don't stop. As one brother used to quote to me all the time: "The work don't stop; it continues."
Right. Praise be to Allah. My brothers, this was definitely a beautiful program, and I definitely want to respect the time, but I learned a lot. Always, I respect you brothers highly. That's why I reached out to you because I'm sure whoever watches this podcast will be affected positively because it's always good seeing brothers who can speak articulately and then strongly about the great work that you're doing. So, Brother Shaka, please share your organization once again, brother, your website, and how they can get in touch with you, brother.
The organization is Bravo Zulu Chess Academy. We can be found at Bravo, BRAV as in victory, OZZULU chess.org, bravozuluchess.org. All of my contact information is on there. Our Instagram is at Team Bravo Zulu. Please drop us a like. We will be able to share our content. We're pretty responsive. Within 2 hours, we try to respond unless it's something over hours. But between 9 to 5, we try to respond within 2 hours if you have a question or if you just have some comments about our content. We like all feedback. And I definitely want to take this time, Brother Vaughn, to say thank you to you for using your time and your platform and your podcast for something positive. You're not perpetuating the civil war between men and women. You're not talking about LeBron or Jordan. You are actually doing something that is pushing the people forward, spreading the word of the positivity that's going on. And I pray Allah continues to bless you, sir.
Oh man, my brother, one thing we always say, you hear me say it a lot, one team, one fight, right?
That's right.
So, I'm only as strong as my team, and you brothers are definitely my team and my brother. So the brotherhood is strong. So I give all praise due to Allah, brother. So I thank you for those kind words, black man. And thank you for your due diligence too. Because once again, me and you been in the foxhole together, brother. And I love what you're doing. That's why when something positive comes up, I say, Brother Shaka, X, Y, and Z, you know that. So hey, brother,
Praise be to Allah.
let's keep doing what we're doing. And to my
Yes,
New
sir.
York brother, Brother James, yeah, share, your closing words, your organization, brother, and thank you for what you do, brother, because I know for a fact from me visiting Charlotte that you have a positive impact, brother. I see the program that you do, and it's very much necessary needed. So the floor is yours, Brother James.
Yes, sir. Well, I want to thank you for even having this opportunity, Brother Vaughn. Always, I thank you for your helping me edit with the little video clip that helped me get that on the website. And my website is www.ysa-manhoodtraining.org. That's www.ysa-manhoodtraining.org. And we can be found at the Sugar Creek Rec Center, which is at 943 West Sugar Creek, Charlotte, North Carolina. We're there from 9 to 12, and we take students all the way from ages of 6 up to 16. So if anybody's available, wants to come down, they can always come down. You can also give me a call at 704-369-1295. Leave a message. If I don't answer right away, don't leave a message. I'm not going to call back. Just leave a message and tell me who you are, because I get a lot of calls for a lot of different things. Just continue. I'm just going to keep on continuing the program. We're about to go on a camping trip, fishing trip, do some other activities. So hit me up if you want your child to be in the program.
Hey, what you going to fish for, brother? What kind of fish you going for? Some pogies?
Porgies, crappies, I don't know. We'll see.
Yes, sir. Oh boy, black people in them pogies, boy. You can't go wrong with that, right?
Yes, sir.
Praise be to Allah. Well, brothers, may Allah continue to bless you in all that you do. Thank you for so much for being on the program. This is Brother Levant, ex of Brother Levant's Community Reporting, looking to bring positivity. If you want to check us out, you can visit my website at www.brotherlevantx Community Reporting. It is spelled LEVONX Community Reporting.com. And you can go and sign up for our newsletter. We send it out every week of everything that we got going on in the community, and we're looking to uplift. So there is a platform for what we're doing, and I pray that we can build positive platforms so we can better our community. So may God continue to bless you, and let's continue to grow. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
My brothers, I appreciate that. That was a beautiful show.
Praise be.
Thank you, brother. Praise be to Allah.